Hey, it's Murph and Andy, and we love talking sports and more.
Catch us live at 1 o'clock every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Iowa Everywhere.
And if you miss it, just go to iowaeverywhere.com. You can watch or listen there or wherever you find your podcasts.
Turnpike Troubadours are coming to Des Moines.
Picking up barges on a long hot summer day. Good Lord.
Wild America Tour. Friday, February 20th at Horizon Event Center. With special guest Randy Rogers Band. A masterful live show like no other. Turnpike Troubadours.
And smoke and light.
On sale now through Ticketmaster. Produced by Mammoth.
Jake Brend and Derek Duke break down everything you need to know throughout the Big 12. This is Bigger Than 12. Presented by WealthCharter Retirement Planning and Tax. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is Bigger Than 12 on Iowa Everywhere.
Hello and welcome to the Channel Seed Studios for Bigger Than 12 on Sunday, November 9th. I'm Jake Brend, joined by Derek Duke in Texas, not his normal part of Texas.
No,
in Fort Worth.
Yes, I made the trip up to Fort Worth for the Iowa State TCU game. It went about as well as one could expect, I guess, for the trip up here. I got to hang out with a bunch of great Cyclone fans. DFW Cyclones did a great job at their tailgate. Great barbecue, fun, beer, you name it, we had it. And then, of course, the game itself. Got to sit in the section with the Iowa State fans. It was truly incredible. Met some great people as well. Jake, a couple people came up to me, told me they loved the show. I believe Trina is her name from up here. She said she watches every single show.
Wow.
She asked where you were, and I said we couldn't afford to bring you. But no, in all seriousness, it was fun. And then Carson, shout out to Carson from Grapevine. He told me he listens to the show as well. So I told him I'd give him a special shout out too on the show. So met a lot of great people, and several people came up to me and said that they love our show. So it was really cool to see.
That's great to hear. If you're a proud supporter of Bigger Than 12, thank you for joining us here on a good Sunday for Big 12 football that we're going to break down the Saturday. And did you see Chris Williams with the shirt off?
I didn't. I saw the picture of it. He was sitting about 2 sections over from me. I could kind of see like down the road, but I couldn't see because by the time everybody started taking their shirt off, you kind of really can't tell who's who when they're just waving shirts in the air.
So, it was it was a whole section thing?
Yes.
Oh.
There were a few people in that section that did it, and about, I want to say, 6 or 7 rows in front of us, there were probably at least a dozen people doing it as well.
All right.
So it was a little spread out for sure.
Oh, at what point in the game did that take place?
Fourth quarter. Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
That's our boss.
That is the CEO of a central Iowa media empire right there.
If there's a LinkedIn profile picture for anyone, that should be it right there. That is just perfect. I thought it was hilarious. It's maybe the best. It might be the photo of the year for
that is
Iowa
so
Everywhere,
good.
seriously.
That is so good. We're gonna have to get that. We're gonna have to get that. Yeah, framed. Put it on the wall in the Cyclone Fanatic Iowa Everywhere studios.
Have them sign it.
We'll have to send that to Tim Hawkins and be like, "Hey Tim, thanks for doing business with this company. This is what you got yourself into."
Oh man.
No, Tim Hawkins. He's just great. He's a great supporter of what we do, and his company, WealthCharter Retirement Planning and Tax, is the presenting sponsor of Bigger Than 12. It is the perfect time to give Tim and his team a call. We're heading into the holidays. We're heading into the new year. Right now, you're getting ready to spend a bunch of money over presents and the Christmas season. So go and get all your finances in check before you do that with Tim Hawkins at WealthCharter Retirement Planning and Tax. We appreciate their support of Bigger Than 12. We got 5 games to recap today. Texas Tech dominates. Iowa State gets off the mat. Houston survives. Arizona comes back. West Virginia just stays hot. The Mountaineers, the hottest team in America right now. We'll do our random Big 12 quarterback, our top 5 power rankings brought to you by Whiskey River. Iowa trivia question. We'll do an update on Big 12 Survivor, and we'll pick some games as Duke and I look to stay just red hot, stay in the green for the year.
Winning money.
All that, of course, brought to you by WealthCharter Retirement Planning and Tax. We start in Lubbock, Texas with the Big 12 Game of the Year. And it wasn't even close. Texas Tech just dominates BYU from start to finish, and they pick up their signature win of the season. The final score, 29-7 in Lubbock, and man, Texas Tech looks every bit as the Big 12 champion right now.
I think I don't want to say I feel bad for ESPN, but this is the second week in a row where College Game Day comes to a Big 12 campus, a Big 12 venue, and the game just sucks. And it's no disrespect to Texas Tech or even BYU, but like it was not the game I think we all expected to be. Like we were expecting this close battle, hard-fought battle that would go right down to the wire. At least I did. I had BYU covering, by the way, but that just did not happen.
Yeah, nice pick.
This was total domination by Texas Tech. From start to finish, Tech was the better team, and they showed it on Saturday, and it wasn't even close. Even the final score of 29-7, I don't feel like that tells the whole story of that game about how much Tech dominated in that. They shut down Bear Bachmeier, held BYU to 67 rushing yards, which is their lowest of the season, and gave up just 7 points, and they held him scoreless for 3 quarters. It's incredible what they did. And a big reason why is because the man himself, the linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez, who is going to be my monster beast of the week.
Beast of the week.
How about this man? Jake, you gave him the award last week, and
back
he deserves
to back,
it again
baby.
This week. 14 tackles, an interception, a tackle for loss, and it's time for you, for me, and everyone else in college football to recognize that this guy might be a legitimate Heisman candidate. And I loved what Joey McGuire said after the game. He said the Heisman is given to the best football player. It's not given to the best quarterback, which maybe one could argue. But they have awards for that. He said you can't say that Jacob Rodriguez at his position isn't playing the best at his position in the country, as elite and as good as anyone in the country. And it's true. The kid is as good of a linebacker as I've seen in this conference, and he's 100% a beast. He's just an absolute monster. You're looking at the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year right there, without a doubt in my mind. It's an easy pick at this point for Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe the best defensive player in the entire country. I think you can certainly make an argument for that. At this point, if you're putting together a Heisman list, I think he's got to be somewhere on that list. And this is crazy. We're talking about a linebacker and Heisman in the same sentence, because that just doesn't happen very often. But Jacob Rodriguez, to me, is very deserving of at least getting a look for the Heisman Trophy.
If I had a vote, I'm giving it to Jacob Rodriguez. What this guy is doing right now, we painted the picture last week. He came in with 7 forced fumbles. This game, he recovers a fumble. He has an interception.
It's insane.
He's game changer is too light of a term. He's a game wrecker. That's all he does. And Texas Tech made BYU look like a MAC team. And that's nothing against BYU. I think their roster's really good. I think they're incredibly well coached. Bear Bachmeier's been one of the best stories in college football this year. And none of it mattered. None of it mattered because of Texas Tech. That wasn't a BYU thing. They didn't really have a ton of self-inflicted wounds. Their mistakes came because Texas Tech was so good at the point of attack. They were so good at being the more physical team, and they looked every bit of the national championship level team. I'm not saying they're going to win one, but that Texas Tech team that we saw yesterday is certainly good enough to go head-to-head with Georgia. They can certainly go beat Indiana. Like that is a well-coached team, and that is a incredible roster, especially up front.
And what's crazy to me is just, again, Texas Tech didn't even play their best offensively. I feel like I've said that time and time again, and they didn't finish drives in this game. If they did, it probably would have been 50-7, something around that. Like, and yet they don't finish drives. They still win by 20 plus, and that's why they're going to be my focus for my carbless refreshing take of the week.
Oh man, giving out all your awards.
I am just doubling up on Texas Tech this morning. This is the best team in the Big 12 right now. It's not even close. I mean, they demolished BYU. They made them look average. There is not a team in this conference at this point in time that can beat them. This Tech is going to win a Big 12 title. They're going to go to the playoff. They're going to win at least, in my opinion, one game. They're going to win a playoff game. I don't have any doubt in my mind about that. This team's for real. And even when you have a guy like Paul Feinbaum on ESPN who just despises anything that's not the SEC, saying that this Texas Tech team is a legitimate national championship contender, that says something. Whether you agree with it or not, to me, that still says something. The fact that he's willing to go out of his way and say that's big for the Big 12. And, I think it's really good to have a team like this in the Big 12 Conference. We need that team that can carry the flag into the postseason, make a run, maybe make a championship game appearance, whatever it is. We need somebody to win these important games against the SEC, against the Big Ten. I think this Texas Tech team can do just that.
I'm ready to run through a brick wall. This Tech team, you're right. They are good enough to do it, and they should be in the top 5 next week. Will they? Probably not. Nobody in front of them lost. But their one loss, it's without their quarterback. And they lost to Arizona State, who still had their quarterback at the time. They still had Sam Leavitt. They still had Jordan Tyson. That's not a bad loss. It's not a bad loss when you're playing your freshman quarterback on the road. Hopefully they get the benefit of the doubt. Of course, they still have to take care of business. They still have to win out. Still got to take care of business in Dallas. The problem with yesterday is what it does for the conference's two-bid potential. Unfortunately, it's probably the first time a lot of people watched BYU being in that spot. Of course, unless they had YouTube TV, and then they didn't get a watch. But I hope that this isn't a loss that drops them like 10 spots. But when you go off of precedent and how the Big 12 has been handled before, I could certainly see that happening, and it shouldn't. I hope BYU falls 6-7 spots, keeps themselves in the running if they're able to win out. But again, if they meet Tech in the Big 12 championship again, what's stopping this result from happening? And then they probably get left out in that case too.
I think the best case for the Big 12 probably would have been BYU winning, making it to Arlington, and then having a team like Tech or Utah play them in the conference championship game, beat them. Then you could still make an argument for getting those two teams in. I thought at maybe one point, I know it's crazy to hear it out, say it out loud, but 3 teams in the playoff, like there were people talking about 3 Big 12 teams because you have Utah sitting there at 13.
Yeah, Utah is just sneaking around.
And that's what you want.
They're quiet.
That's exactly what you want.
Which, right now, if you're a Utah fan, I guess it's kind of weird because we're not doing our show on Tuesdays this year. We're on Sundays. So last year we were like doing our instant reaction to the college football playoff rankings. So we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah.
So what Utah wants right now, they need BYU to win out. Because if you're Utah, I don't think you want to go to the Big 12 championship.
No.
Unless, yes, you want to go win a Big 12 championship. You want to think that you can beat Texas Tech. But if BYU is able to win out against TCU at Cincinnati, which is going to be tough, and Central Florida at home, BYU is going to go to the Big 12 championship. And they're probably going to be, I don't know, in that 12 to 14 range. And if they lose to Tech again, they'd probably fall out. And who knows? Maybe Utah is going to be ahead of BYU in next week's rankings. And if that's the case, Do you think so? Utah's at 13 right now. BYU's at 7. BYU will probably fall to 14, right? You would think.
I don't think if you're a committee member, you can sit there and be like, you can't. You have to factor in the head-to-head.
Head-to-head, yeah.
You've got to factor in the head. If they don't, then we might as well just throw the playoff ranking away, which maybe we should anyways. But you have to at that point.
It's
BYU,
tricky.
It matters.
Well, what's the precedent they set last year? You can't get knocked out for a conference championship loss. And that was to the ACC. It wasn't like an SEC thing. Yeah. So I think that'll hold up. So I think as long as BYU or Utah are in the top, they'll have to be in the top 10. Because there's no way a group of 5 or an ACC team ends up in the top 12 by the end of the year. So if one of those teams are in the top 10 heading into conference championship weekend, we should be looking at a 2-bid Big 12. We should be.
Hopefully.
It all sounds right in our head. We'll see if the committee and the worldwide leader in sports can execute that game plan.
And we still got some games left, so
yeah, this could all change in a second. As far as Utah goes, though, we'll certainly dive into them more a little bit next week as they come off of a bye. They've got a pretty favorable schedule the rest of the way. The Iowa State Cyclones, the little old Iowa State Cyclones.
They played football yesterday?
They sure did. And they rocked. I love that uniform combination.
Beautiful.
And they, with their backs against the wall, the whole world against them, bigger than 12 against them, me doubting them, picking an 18-point loss. The little old Iowa State Cyclones walk into Fort Worth and leave with a victory in one of the most improbable, one of the most Matt Campbell backs against your wall culture wins of all time. Derek, you were there. Take me through your experience at the game.
I mean, what a game, what a finish. The whole reason why I'm sitting here in this lovely hotel room recording this podcast is because of that game. I was in the stands for this one. It was incredible to watch. Also at times frustrating. I could definitely hear it around the people around me. Iowa State's defense did just about everything you can ask for. They were able to get a pair of turnovers early, but the offense really couldn't get going outside of that one touchdown drive in the first half. Yet that defense just kept them in it for 4 quarters. Eventually, they did wear down a bit. Like Josh Hooper was able to find Dwyer and McAllister. By the way, they both finished with 11 catches, which is to me is just insane. But Hoover was able to count on them, and eventually Iowa State's defense did break. And just when I thought, maybe they could pull Rocco Becht here, they go on an 11-play, 75-yard drive to answer TCU's score. And what did the defense do? They get a 3-and-out. And then Aiden Flora takes one back to the house on a punt return to completely flip the game upside down for Iowa State. And then from there, Iowa State's defense once again took over, forced another turnover. Like TCU was going to score on that drive. And then Iowa State's defense forced another turnover. The offense gets back on the field, backs against the wall, need to kill time. And Taylor Mauser calls a ballsy quarterback keep on that 4th and short to essentially ice the game. I love that call from Mauser. I thought it was incredible. Iowa State's defense and special teams play kept them in this game, gave them that boost, and the offense did just enough in key moments, despite making dumb penalties, despite dropping 4 or 5 passes, shooting yourself in the foot time and time again, yet they did step up in crunch time. So it was a tough, gritty win for Iowa State. To end a 4-game losing streak in this spot was huge, and this should be a spark to ignite this team to potentially win out and maybe go 8-4.
That leads me right into my carbless, refreshing take, premium, handcrafted cocktails, all sorts of flavors. Give me the cranberry. I'm going to have one today while watching some NFL football. It's a little early right now for a carbless, but I'm certainly craving one for later in the day. My carbless, refreshing take is that coaching, culture, buy-in, all that stuff still matters. Iowa State on a 4-game losing streak. Every reason to check out of the season, especially when you consider, like at Big 12 Media Days, Rocco Becht told me that we're going back. We're going back to the Big 12 championship. We're going to win it. That team had that goal, and I thought it was a realistic goal. You watch them the first few weeks of the season, you beat your two biggest rivals, everything is in front of you, and the rug is just pulled from underneath you. Mostly self-inflicted, mostly because the team's not playing their best football. And on Saturday, they played far from their best football. You laid it all out. They still had the drops. Rocco still had a really rough first three quarters in terms of accuracy. But it didn't matter because the team didn't quit. The team showed their will when they didn't really have a reason to show their will other than their own pride, other than that Cyclones script logo across their helmet, other than the guy to the left and the right of them. And that's pretty dang cool because you look at a team like Penn State. Granted, they're probably not the best example because they put up a hell of a fight against Indiana yesterday, but they're 0-6. You look at Florida State. They beat Alabama to start the year. This is a really, 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 really great Alabama team, and Florida State looked better that day. They pick up one bad loss, and then it just snowballs downhill from there. The team didn't look like they wanted to be in Death Valley last night. That the same can't be said about Iowa State. To have Ben Bramer go out there and play when he was in the hospital a week ago. You have Dom Orange seemingly getting injured every single game. He got rolled up on yesterday, comes right back in the game, total game changer. You have guys dropping like flies every single play on defense, and if they don't come back in, someone else comes in and fills in and takes a risk by playing a true freshman. Or they come right back in and they're playing dinged up. I think this Iowa State team just has tremendous fight, tremendous will, and it doesn't fix everything. Still have the problems. It doesn't fix the season. Fans are still right to be disappointed about the season, but they should be really proud to be a Cyclone fan with that effort that they showed in Fort Worth yesterday.
I think proud's probably the best word to use because when so many people, including myself, wrote them off for this year, didn't expect them to win this game. I think some of us here in our staff had them losing by double digits to TCU. There you go, including yours truly there. But again, this
18-point loss is what I picked.
It was just a tough, gritty, as I like to call it, a ballsy win for Iowa State. Like, you have to be proud after the game. The fight that they showed in that game was just truly incredible. It's like anytime you count out a Matt Campbell coach team, when you least expect it, they just surprise the hell out of you and pull one off. And this was that game. This could be a game where what really turns their season around. I mean, you could be looking at an 8-win season, which to me, given the injuries and all the mistakes and everything going on, I mean, that's pretty incredible to do. Unfortunately, I do have to flip it over to TCU here for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Another team played on that same field.
They're going to be my Freedom Tire who needs a fix. This was one game, if you're TCU, this was one game you could not lose. They were not out of the Big 12 title picture. They also had a week to prepare for this game, and their offense did not look good at all. They couldn't run the ball. Hoover made some errors early. Their special teams were awful. Between the chip shot field goal miss, the punt return, they looked sloppy for a team coming off a bye week, and that falls directly on the shoulders of Sonny Dykes. And Jake, I don't know if you've seen their remaining schedule. They
brutal.
BYU, Houston, and Cincinnati. I mean, this team was 6-2 before the weekend here, and I don't think it's crazy to say that they could, lose out.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
At all here. I mean, it just there's a chance that TCU could finish 6-6 this season and fire Sonny Dykes. To me, that's it. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about that. It's crazy to me that things have turned so quickly in Fort Worth for that team. And, I heard it around the stadium. There are people that really were still frustrated, even at 6-2, that were still frustrated with the team, with the play, and with Sonny Dykes. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him in the next few weeks. And if they start losing and things start going downhill fast, maybe you're right. We talked about, his hot seat. Maybe he does get fired at the end of the year.
Yeah, this this team is disappointing. We talked so much about them in the summer leading up to the year, about how they have to be a Big 12 championship caliber team because of what they have at quarterback, the weapons they have, and a defense on paper that's solid. It's nothing incredible, but it's good enough. And you look at this team's this team's resume, and it's disappointing. You've lost probably like 3 games that would be your best win. Right now, their best win is at home against Baylor. And yeah, it's a rivalry game, which that's important. That means something. But if you remember that game, they almost had one of the most epic collapses ever. Like, if they lost that game, Dykes might have been fired that Monday. And this is just a team I thought was going to be better. Gun to my head, this last 3, I'd say they probably get 1, but it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if they lost out. And if they lose out, you're talking total hot seat for a coach that was in a national championship game just 3 years ago.
He's got to go. If they finish 6-6, he's got to go. This team is too talented on both sides of the ball to be 6-6. I don't care about the schedule.
I completely. And he has the best get out of jail free card in the country, certainly in the conference, because he coached in a national championship game a couple of years ago. But there's been nothing about this team since that indicates to me that they're well coached.
No.
The further and further we get away from that national championship appearance, the more credit I give to Max Duggan. And I don't know if that's fair to Sonny Dykes. From my outsider perspective, that's how I see it.
For sure. That was a deflating loss if you're a TCU fan. Deflating.
Well, and just the amount of opportunities that Iowa State gave you. Like,
they turned the ball over too.
TCU easily could have won that game by 30 points. Like, Rocco Becht had 111 yards passing. He was 9 of 24 through 2 picks.
Yeah. If you would have told me Iowa State scored 20 points, that's what I was telling Williams last night. If I told you Iowa State scored 20 points, how much do you think they would have lost by?
I mean, I picked in the Iowa Everywhere Picks column, I picked 41-23 TCU. So I would have said they probably lost by 21 points.
Yeah. And they win.
Crazy. Houston gives us some entertainment on Friday night, walking in to Middle Florida and beating them 30-27. And Derek, just a little insight. If you were listening to last week's show when we were picking our games, and this line came out at 1.5 points, we were both so confused.
Yeah.
I may or may not have went ahead and placed my largest college football bet of the season on Houston.
Oh, I know you did.
I turned this game on Friday night, and I see that it's the space game, and I about had a heart attack. Like, I can't believe I bet against Central Florida in the space game. And every single second of this game, it felt like what could go wrong for Houston was going wrong. They turned the game a little bit with a pick 6. Looks like they're in control. UCF comes right back. Houston gets it done, though, down the stretch. Walks out of UCF with an important win because Houston, they're not completely dead yet. They're not out of the Big 12 title picture. I know that West Virginia loss was about as deflating as possible. And not being able to blow out UCF is a mild concern, but either way, they're still 4-2 or 5-2 in conference play, and they've got a puncher's chance of making some noise still.
I don't think there was a person in America who was sweating more through this game than you with that Houston pick, probably.
Oh, man.
But hey, you won, and so did I with my game pick. I think we at 1.5, right?
Yeah.
Houston was they were 1.5 point favorite. But look, for Houston, you go to Orlando on a Friday night, you get a win. That's all you can ask for when you play on the road in the Big 12. Connor Wegman did not have his best game by any means. In fact, he probably played his worst game of the season when it came to passing the football. Yeah, and 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 in the first half. But what carried the offense just was their run game. Houston had 200-plus yards on the ground, led, of course, by Connor Wegman. But when the Cougars needed that late drive, I'll give him credit. Like, Wegman was that guy to put him in field goal range. And then Ethan Sanchez just does what Ethan Sanchez always does. He just makes clutch kicks. And what impressed me the most with Houston, particularly, was their defense in the second half. UCF had 24 in the first, and Houston's defense held them to just 3 in the second half. And then, of course, came up with that game-winning interception to seal the deal thanks to Kentrell Webb. But it wasn't pretty by any means, but Houston found a way. Now, they're at 8-2, which is still just an incredible story, not just in the Big 12, but all of college football. So it was a pretty big win for Houston on Friday night.
So you know how I was invested in this game. I was like I was a diehard Cougs fan. Honestly, I'm like a light Houston Cougars fan at this point. I love their basketball fans so much. I'm a big Willie Fritz guy. But do you know who changed this game around? Do you know who made my Friday night?
Tell me.
Amari Thomas, and he is my Beast of the Week.
Beast of the Week.
The Beast of the Week, presented by Monsters the Beast. Find it at your local liquor store. 4 flavors. Of course, please drink responsibly. Houston was down 10-0 in this game. And they looked horrible. They turned it over on downs. They had a 3-and-out, another 3-and-out. They give up a touchdown. Connor Wigman is completely lost. He can't do anything right. What's he do? He throws it up to Amari Thomas, the Big 12's leading receiver, maybe the most underrated player in the entire conference. He comes down with it. Big touchdown, turns the game around. Then the Houston defense comes right through on the next play. Amari Thomas is the best wide receiver in the Big 12 that nobody is talking about. It seems like anytime Houston is in these dogfight games, which they're in a lot of them, it's Amari Thomas who comes down with a play to turn the tide. He had one earlier this season against Colorado early in that game where we still weren't really sure who Houston was. We weren't really sure who Colorado was, but we were both pretty sure that Houston was the better team at that point. And Amari Thomas comes through that day, and that's how you go help your struggling quarterback right there, making plays like that.
I think you're right. Probably the most underrated receiver in the Big 12, maybe in the entire country. He's really, really good. He does provide that spark to the offense that they really need, because Houston does struggle to throw the football at times. It is hard to watch, but Thomas has been great this season. He's been fantastic for them.
All right, before we move on, we got to talk about Scott Frost. I can't wait to send him a Christmas card.
For what?
The way he handled that last drive.
Oh, gosh.
He put in a 6th-string quarterback.
Yeah, that was not ideal, and that throw was awful, by the way.
Davi Belfort.
Yeah.
He is a true freshman from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and
he had some snaps earlier in the year, if I remember correctly. Like, he had some playing time at one point.
Yeah,
earlier this year.
But they bring him in, and he is just running all over Houston on this last drive. And I'm thinking, my gosh, Scott Frost, you bastard. You've made an incredible switch to this quarterback, and he's going to lead a game-winning drive, at least a game-tying drive, because he got his team in field goal range. There's like 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
And the announcer on the Fox broadcast is like, oh my gosh, he's got a receiver in the end zone. He throws it up, not even close, intercepted.
Oh,
yeah. A party breaks out in the Brend household, singing the Houston Cougars fight song. Thank you, Scott Frost. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't hear the audio. I was at a bar, but I was heavily invested in that game watching it. And then when I saw it, I'm like, out of all the throws to make, you make that one. I mean, just throw an incomplete pass. I mean, you could at least kick a field goal, I thought it was going to go to overtime. But just to take your shot right there in that moment, to me, was very strange. It was a very poor
with a
decision.
freshman quarterback. When we're done with this show, go and watch it on YouTube. The announcer sells it so hard. you might as well have thought that prime Calvin Johnson was standing on an island by himself with no one in 10 feet around him. The way that the announcer was talking about, I've got a receiver in the end zone. Oh, it's picked off. Thank you, Scott Frost. Arizona wins just a bizarre game against Kansas. I don't know how much of this game you caught. It was going on at the same time as Iowa State. I had it on in the corner of my living room, and I was glancing over every single time. And Kansas pretty much led this game start to finish. And every time I look over, there's a ball that just hits a Kansas D-back in the face mask. Or they drop an interception. They dropped like 2 pick sixes in this game. They had every opportunity to put this game away. They weren't able to do it. Arizona hangs around just long enough and puts together a game-winning drive led by Quincy Craig, the running back, and they hand Kansas another disappointing loss that I can't believe they lost this game. I cannot believe they found a way to lose it.
Yeah, I kept up with this game for sure. I mean, Kansas had a chance to go up 24-7 before halftime. I saw that. After a pick six that ended up getting called back. But then for Arizona, they ended up scoring on that drive. They make it a 3-point game at halftime. And then what was strange to me is like the defenses just took over in the second half, which is something I didn't expect to see. Arizona outscored Kansas just 10-3. I mean, Kansas missed a field goal late, but it really didn't matter because Arizona went on that 2-minute drive.
30-yard field goal.
Yeah, and with less than 3 minutes left, and they ended up scoring. And Fafita didn't even have his best day, but I'll give him credit. He made plays, especially on that last drive. And to me, that was just the difference in this game. I didn't expect both defenses to be really stout the way they did, but Arizona made plays to win this game late. And then for Kansas, you look, they outgained Arizona. They held the ball for 10 minutes longer. But, you can't score 3 points in the second half on the road and expect to win. So the other thing I find interesting, with the win, obviously Arizona now punches their ticket to a bowl game. They've got Cincy, Baylor, and Arizona State left, I believe. So I don't think it's crazy for them to win 2 out of the 3, maybe finish with 8 wins, which would be really a nice bounce-back season for Brennan. But then for Kansas, I mean, now you need to either beat Iowa State or Utah to get to a bowl game, and I don't know if this Kansas team can do it right now.
Kansas is my Freedom Tire who needs a fix. They'll be up in Ames in a couple weeks. While they're there, they should hit up Freedom Tire over on 2905 South Duff Street. That's your location if you're in Ames or the surrounding area. If you're down in Des Moines, you've got locations also in Altoona, Des Moines, over on Fleur, West Des Moines on West Grand and Urbandale. Of course, go and get all your... I should probably hit up there Monday morning. I'm due for an oil change, and I got to drive to South Dakota. So it's this time of year. We got snow on the ground in Iowa right now.
Saw that.
So if you have some worn-out tires, it is now or never to go and get your car ready for the winter. Kansas is just not the same team that they were a couple of years ago. It doesn't feel like they have any of the same juice. Like a few years ago, they went really quickly from a cute story to, wow, this is real. Look, Kansas beating Texas, that's awesome. To, Kansas beat a real program in Oklahoma. To, wow, Kansas is a couple plays away from playing for a Big 12 championship. Last year, they have one of the weirdest years ever. I'm trying to remember the stat off the top of my head. We cranked the numbers, though. When they lost those 3 games in a row, they had like a 1 in like 100,000 chance of losing all 3 of those games. Yeah. When they led by double digits in all of them. But what did they do at the end of last year? They showed everybody what this team still can be. And that's the team I thought we were getting this year. And it felt like it all changed in that loss to Missouri. And now they're just a mediocre football team. They don't run the ball as well as they used to. Their defense has certainly taken a step back. Their defense hasn't really ever been great under Lance Leipold, but they at least had elite secondaries. And they had some ball hawks. They don't really have that right now either. And they're just really mediocre. And they're putting all these resources into football still, that they're not going away, but they need some new blood going into next year. And they'll get that in the form of the quarterback. Jalen Daniels is in his final year. And it's not like he's been bad by any means, but maybe they just need a new face under center, and that can give them a spark because it feels stale right now in Lawrence.
I agree 100% on that. I think they do need a new face at quarterback from Jalen Daniels. So we'll find out next season. But I think the frustrating part has to be the fact that your defense played pretty damn well against Arizona, and your offense just wasn't able to get the job done. And that's inexcusable because for this Kansas team, their offense was going to have to carry them this season if they were going to get to 7-8 wins this year. But it really just hasn't. It hasn't really come all together for them. And you're right. Last year, they were playing the best football that they, probably out of anyone in the Big 12 late in the month of November. And this year, it's just like we haven't even seen a glimpse of that. Not one time.
The flaming hot West Virginia Mountaineers win again, beating Colorado. What a win for the Mountaineers at home. This one was dicey at points, but the Mountaineers have now won 2 games in a row. And don't speak too soon, but bowl eligibility is not out of the question. 2 very winnable games for Rich Rod and Scotty Fox Jr. They got at Arizona State. That'll be tough. I'll give it to you. But then they host Texas Tech.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
In Morgantown. Trust me, you don't want to be Baron Morton on that day. Walking into Morgantown on a frigid Saturday. Please. West Virginia's going bowling, baby. I'm telling you.
Are you saying they're going to beat Texas Tech?
Oh, yeah. Well, look at the quality of football this team is playing right now.
Texas Tech might beat them by 40 in Morgantown.
No, sorry. I had to commit to the bit. I have a lot of stock in this West Virginia program, and all jokes aside, they're playing their best football of the year right now. It wasn't a pretty win over Colorado, but I'll hand it to Dion. I'll hand it to Colorado. Juju Lewis played a dang good football game yesterday. I think he's got to be their quarterback going forward, especially when this season is completely lost. You're not getting anything out of Caden Salter. I thought Lewis made a couple of throws that made him look the part of that 5-star talent. So Colorado found a little something, but West Virginia is able to make it 2 wins in a row. They were a couple plays away from beating TCU a few weeks ago. They're playing some good football, and it looks like they're trending in the right direction heading into year 2 of the Rich Rod era.
Yeah, West Virginia just won this game by playing, great defense and running the football. And Julian Lewis, you're right, he wasn't bad in his road debut at all. But West Virginia, I believe, sacked him 7 times in this game, so he just doesn't have a lot of help. But the fact that West Virginia turned the ball over 3 times and still won this game, that alone should just tell you how bad Colorado is. Yeah. I mean, the Mountaineers shut down I think they held them to just 51 yards on the ground on 38 carries for that's really impressive. Also, shout out Curtis Jones, the linebacker, got some snaps on offense. I saw he scored twice.
One of the best Cyclones of all. Oh, different Curtis Jones.
Yes, I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, and now Colorado, of course, as expected, is eliminated from bowl contention. And you're right, West Virginia would have to win back-to-back games to make it to a bowl. So I think it's safe to say that neither team is going to go bowling. But credit to Rich Rod. I'll give him credit here. He's got his guys playing their best football in the month of November, which isn't easy to do.
Well, another thing that Colorado did was they at least gave a scare to 72 people who picked West Virginia in Big 12 Survivor this week.
It's true.
It was in question at one point. My great stepbrother Gabe was texting me all game like, am I really going to get knocked out of Survivor because a true freshman quarterback in his first real minutes? And I picked West Virginia too, so I was kind of in the same boat. Either way, those people all survived. We did have about 20 people pick TCU, so they're eliminated. If you are still surviving, you'll get an email this evening for your picks for next week. We now welcome in esteemed producer and Pulitzer Prize candidate, Aiden Wyatt.
Whoa.
For our random Big 12 quarterback.
All right. This quarterback started for 3+ seasons at one school that was in the Big 12 for his entire career. He led the Big 12 in passing twice while being named All Big 12 first team twice. With over 12,000 passing yards and 80 touchdowns, he led his team to a 29-17 record as a starter, along with 1,200 rushing yards, 19 rushing touchdowns.
Whoa.
Seems like a mighty fine fella. Decent record, decent stats right there.
Yep. I'd say so.
That's a tough one. You said 1,200 rushing yards?
Yep.
So that's actually not a ton over. It couldn't be Colin Klein. That's not enough for Colin Klein.
I think you're on the right track. I think it's a Kansas State quarterback, though.
Is it Jake Waters?
No. Nope.
I almost want to say it's... Well,
Is it Will Howard?
It is not.
I was going to say Skylar Thompson, but
Nope.
I don't know if that's correct either.
Huh.
The record was 29-17, which isn't that great of a record, I guess, but led the Big 12. You said he led the conference in passing one year?
Twice.
Okay, so it's definitely... Okay, it's not a Kansas State quarterback then.
Yeah, I kind of missed.
I
Missed that hint.
didn't think about that part. It's definitely not. I'm just trying to go down the list here. In my head, it's not Oklahoma State.
Is it Brock Purdy?
It's Brock Purdy.
I was going to say.
It felt
Yep.
too obvious. Like it came to my head. The 3+ seasons
Yep.
threw me for a loop, and it kind of just hit me that I guess he
That's
technically
true.
was only the starter for 3+
That's true.
seasons, not 4 seasons.
Yep.
Wow, we look like idiots.
Where'd you get that picture, Aiden?
I just pulled a random one of a school wearing all black beating Oregon.
Oh.
I know that doesn't happen too often,
God.
so.
Interesting. I had to turn off my Twitter machine last night.
Why? It was great to be on it last night.
I struck a chord with some Iowa fans, and they were just saying some mean things. I had to lock in. I had to lock into poker.
Well, we'll see if they're going to be talking about the playoff this week.
Playoff? Talk about playoff?
Yeah.
All right, now time for our Big 12 Top 5 presented by Whiskey River. Well, I'm trying to think. You can find a lot of stuff at Whiskey River. You can find some cold, delicious beer. You've got really, really good food.
Good burger.
They've got some big TVs with football. You can also find a good time.
Looking for a good time? Thought so. Whiskey River is just the place. We've got the booze, the food, the vibe, and the amazing rooftop patio. The only thing missing is you. Whiskey River.
I love some Whiskey River. One of my lifelong best friends is back in town from Arizona this weekend, so we're going to go watch football this afternoon, and I'll try and sway him to go to Whiskey River. I don't know if we're sticking around Ankeny, if we're going to go down to the local watering hole in the hometown Indianola, but if we are up in Ankeny, I'm going to go to Whiskey River, and you should do the same. Whiskey River locations in Ankeny and Ames. Time for our Big 12 Top 5 power rankings. And mine is mostly unchanged as far as the teams go. The order flips a little bit. I still go Texas Tech 1, no question about it, no explanation needed. I put BYU over Utah, despite the dominant loss. Both teams now have a dominant loss to Texas Tech. BYU's got the head-to-head. To me, it's a no-brainer to still put them over Utah, despite the fact that you could probably argue that Utah's playing better football right now, and I might even argue that Utah's the better team, despite the head-to-head. But results matter. This is the Big 12 conference. This is bigger than 12 podcast. We don't play hypotheticals here. BYU certainly worthy of number 2. Utah 3. Cincinnati 4. Houston 5. Houston wins, but that win doesn't jump them over Cincinnati while they were on a bye for me. So pretty easy top 5 for me this week.
No, that's a good list. That's a good list. For me, major changes in mine. Big changes. Got Colorado at 1. No, I'm just kidding. Texas Tech, obviously, at number 1. I think that if you don't have Texas Tech at number 1, what are you doing? BYU at 2. They just moved down a spot. And you're right. The head-to-head to me against Utah matters, so I wouldn't change it. I would have BYU at 2. 3, Utah, of course. You're right. I still think Utah is in that upper tier Big 12 of those 3 teams. I think you could probably interchange them, but again, the head-to-head to me matters. Arizona State at 4. I just left that from last week since they didn't play. Cincinnati at 5. I still have the Bearcats in my top 5 for now, but I think our lists are going to change here by next week. We're going to see some more movement with these rankings because we just had so many teams on a bye week this weekend.
Yeah, only 5 games.
Yeah, so it was kind of just a short week for the Big 12.
No, good list. We're certainly going to see some movement next week. We welcome Aiden Wyatt back. Aiden was just here, and he's now bringing us our Iowa trivia question. While
which
wearing
of these
Gladbrook Rhinebeck sweatshirt?
Yep, totally. Going to the Dome, no big deal. Which of these was not filmed in Iowa?
Ooh, I like this.
I think you're going to know this one, Jake.
Okay, I'll shut my mouth then.
Field of Dreams, Twister, Rudy, Children of the Corn.
I know it's not Twister because I went to the Twister Hill when I was up there last time. Hello, dog.
Tell that dog to shut up, Aiden.
She was
Trying to
sleeping until like
podcast
2 minutes ago.
She doesn't like this question, and I don't blame her. I'm going to guess Rudy. It's either Rudy or Children of the Corn, but I'd figure with the corn, I don't know. I'm going to guess Rudy. Why would Rudy? Isn't Rudy from Indiana? He's from Indiana, right?
Isn't it Children of the Corn?
It's Rudy.
Oh, it is.
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking he's from like Chicago. Wasn't he from like Illinois or Indiana in that movie?
Yeah, something
Rudy
like that.
threw me
I've
off
seen
so
it in a while.
much. Rudy threw me off so much. I'm like,
That was
why
the
would that
odd
be
one.
shot in Iowa? So I thought it was a trick question for a second. For some reason, I thought
The old
Children of the
switcheroo.
Corn was shot in Kansas or something like that.
It could have been. It was just one of the film sites was in Iowa anyway.
Gotcha. Okay.
See, I knew it wasn't Twister. I knew that.
Yeah,
100%.
Well, Field of Dreams, iconic spot.
I get that question right, but I don't get the Brock Purdy question right. That is having an off day, I guess.
You have to study up on your Big 12 quarterbacks, man.
Aiden tricked us. You know, when you smiled, I really thought it was Brock Purdy. I was like, he's going to say Brock Purdy. You smiled, and I was like, it's got to be it. But then you didn't say it, so.
Yeah, I thought you had that instantly.
I
did too.
It was the first name that came to mind, but
I was a little nervous too because I said his record and his rushing touchdowns, which Rocco Becht is approaching the records for both,
yeah.
and I wasn't sure if
Exactly.
you had put that together or not.
Yeah, you forget about the
if
record.
if you included the hint that he never beat Iowa, he never beat Iowa, I would have gotten it instantly.
That's the hint that would have given.
Let's pick some games.
Oh, jeez.
I had a 4-1 week. Duke went 3-2. So if you're sticking with bigger than 12, you
Still
are
won.
in the green this year because I've got a record of 33-21. Duke is at 31-23.
Have we had a lose? I think we've probably each had maybe one losing.
Yeah,
where we didn't finish.
I think
above
I had
100.
1 week where I was like 1-4. It was bad, but other than that, I think we've both been in the green every week. I know you got up to a rough start of the year, but once conference play rolled around, we've both been red hot, and we're hoping to stick with that. So Arizona at Cincinnati. This game is on FS1 at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Cincinnati favored by 5.5 at home. The over-under 56.5.
I almost want to take the over in that game because I don't know if anybody's going to stop anybody in that game. But Cincinnati favored by 5.5. I think I might take the Bearcats in that game.
Which one?
Bearcats.
The Arizona Bearcats. That's why they say bear down, right? No, I'm kidding.
I think I've got.
It's a
take
trap,
Cincinnati.
but I'm
It
going to
is a
do it
trap
too.
game.
But because this is a pick segment and not actual money all the time,
I think you got to take the over.
No, I'm taking Cincy. This seems too good to be true. I think Cincy wins this game by a touchdown unless...
Yeah.
Like, I still think they're probably a team that most don't know that they're just a pretty good team, and I think they should win this game by a touchdown. So,
and they're coming off a bye week.
Bear up, or bear. I don't know how you would say that in a demeaning way towards Arizona. The TNT game this week on noon, it's becoming one of my favorite traditions. Watching this game, they do such a good job. Is West Virginia at Arizona State. Arizona State at home favored by 10.5 points. The over-under 47.5.
Arizona State favored by 10. I don't think I trust them. That's too much. I think I'm just going to take West Virginia to cover that. I think I have to.
I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole.
No, I wouldn't either, but we have to play it. I'm going to take West Virginia to cover that. That's a lot of points.
47.5 is... That's a pretty low total, but I think I might still take the under on that. Arizona State's defense is still really good, and West Virginia has been prone to some offensive struggles, especially when it seems like they lose one of their key players every single week. Just give me a low-scoring affair out in Tempe, even though I don't feel comfortable doing it.
I'm the one taking the Mountaineers to cover?
It's a trap. I'm telling you.
Well, West Virginia's playing their best football right now.
I agree. Look out, college football playoff next year. They're building some momentum. Duke's taking plus 10.5. All right, Central at Texas Tech, 2:30 on Fox.
Oh gosh, what's
the Raiders are favored by 23.5. The total is 47.5.
Texas Tech cover.
Wow,
I'm not thinking twice about that.
Have you lost your Central Florida stock?
They're playing Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech just beat BYU by 20 plus. You're not going to take them to beat UCF by 20 plus?
You're gonna feel dumb picking against Scott Frost, but I'm going to do it too.
Yeah. You have to play. I think that might be the easiest play of the weekend.
It's just so many points. I just can't take that many points in real life.
Is UCF going to stop Texas Tech offensively?
Perhaps.
Is UCF even going to score 7 points against Texas Tech?
No, that's the thing.
No.
This game has like 30-3 written all over it.
And it's in Lubbock, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be I can't believe this game's getting the Fox treatment. Good for Texas Tech. They keep getting featured. They keep getting the spotlight.
People want to watch them.
But these ratings are going to be bad. Not because it's the Big 12, but because the game's going to be over 6 minutes into the game.
Well, did you see the CBS game for next week for the Big Ten?
Oh, gosh. Let me guess. Purdue, Michigan.
Penn State. I believe it's Penn State at Michigan State. There's going to be 12. There's going to be 12 people watching that.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
It must be a bad college football week.
Yeah, maybe the Big Ten's just not very good.
Next up, we got Utah at the Baylor Bears. This is probably the most intriguing game of the week in my eyes. Does Dave Aranda have one last hurrah in him? Can he spoil the Big 12 picture a little bit? The Utes favored by 9.5 on the road. The total sits at 60.5.
Gosh. I almost want to say Baylor could cover that, but I don't think I can. I think I got to take the under here.
Do not follow us this week. I don't think we've had a single one yet, other than that Cincy game that we're both like, man, that feels too easy. These lines are all they're all kind of trap lines. Like every single one of them, it feels like.
You said the over-under was at 57.5?
60.5.
60.5. Well, that's true. Baylor's defense is not very good, and I could see Utah just running for 300 yards against them nonstop. But you said 10.5 point favorite?
9.5.
9.5. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna take the over.
Over. All right.
I'm gonna take the over.
I was gonna go under.
I think under would probably maybe be the better play, but
because I think you're right. I don't think Baylor's gonna be able to stop Utah, but the way Utah dominates games is just sucking the air out of the ball, sucking the life out of the stadium.
Yeah.
I think they run all over them and win like a 35-20 game. So it'll probably be pretty close. But I'll take the under, even though I
don't think I'd touch this game.
I don't feel great about it.
I wouldn't touch this game at all if you had to bet it.
Talk about a trap line. Our final game of the week, the nightcap, 9:15 on ESPN. TCU walks into Provo. Guess the spread on this one.
I'm going to say BYU would be favored, I don't know, 8 points.
It's only 5.
Okay. Well, give me BYU then.
I think you have to, right?
A bounce back game for them. And I don't know how much.
Is TCU going to show up?
In Provo?
We've seen things get real weird after dark in Provo, and it's usually in their favor. I'll take BYU, and I won't hesitate on this one. But there's still a hint of trap line in it. I'm going to take it and feel good about it, but I'm not going to feel great about it, if you feel me.
Yeah. No.
Just a weird week in the Big 12. This is probably the worst week we've had in a long time.
I think I don't mind BYU at that spread. I think I would take them. I wouldn't second guess myself on that. I don't think this game's.
I just second guess myself because it should be higher.
That's fair.
I'm thinking, what am I missing? Like, what's wrong? It maybe feels a little bit like that Kansas game last year in Provo.
Yeah. We'll see.
Weird.
Hopefully a good week.
Well, we'll do it. We'll break it down right here next week, same time. Won't have any Cyclones to talk about. Maybe we'll dive into some basketball. You cool with that?
Possibly. Where things are heating up on the court now. Saw Kansas play on Friday night.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They're just cruising. And then
Yep.
our old friend Henry Vasar from Arizona spoiled that for Kansas. That was tough to watch.
We could sprinkle in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. This has been bigger than 12. Oh, the Turnpike Troubadours in the Iowa Wild.
That.
Dang it,
Do
Aiden.
not
My
forget
bad.
about that.
My bad. I dropped the ball. The Turnpike Troubadours is coming to Des Moines Friday, February 20th. And along with them comes Derek Duke in the Randy Rogers Band. I don't know where you fit in the hierarchy of that. You can go buy your tickets at Ticketmaster.com, and you can also enter our giveaway at IowaEverywhere.com. We're giving away tickets, free tickets to this show on Tuesday, November 11th. So be sure to go submit that. And then we also want to promote our friends at the Iowa Wild. They're hosting Hockey Fights Cancer Night Sunday, November 9th. That is today. So this pod is probably dropping sometime in the early afternoon. You still have time to go to the Iowa Wild game tonight and just support a great cause for the Iowa Wild. Their Hockey Fights Cancer. It's something that affects everybody. Go watch the Wild play the Rockford Ice Hogs, 6 o'clock at the Casey's Center. Thank you to the Iowa Wild for supporting what we do here at Iowa Everywhere. And thank you to Aiden Wyatt for reminding me, because I totally dropped the ball. And now he's going to go berate me off air.
Probably.
Wish me luck, people. Thank you for joining us here in the Channel Seed Studios. We'll be back next Sunday.